Hello student, so in this video we are going to take a look at the questions in reading to learn. By doing this exercise, I want you all to know that the first goal of doing this kind of exercise is that I want you to apply what you learn in the textbook. Not just simply recall the concept, but also you can observe any biological phenomenon in your daily life and link it with your biological knowledge, your biological understanding. So try to merge what you learn to your life. And also the second goal is that because when we study biology, you may think that once I can memorize all the things, all the vocabularies, all the definition, all the functions, something like that, and then I will get a good grade. Not really, because you need to remember the glossary, yes. You need to remember the definition, yes. You need to remember the function, yes. But the key point is that you need to think. You need to think in another way. Because the question in DSE will not be very, very direct. They may not ask you, what is the definition of something something? No, they may not ask it. What is the function of something something? They may not ask it. Although they ask this kind of low order thinking question, it may just carry 1 mark or 2 marks. But if they ask you to think, they ask you to apply, they ask you to explain any biological phenomenon, so these questions contain more marks, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe even 6. So the point is that you need to recall the concept, recall the understanding, in your daily life. So in this exercise, we have 4 questions. Each of them contain different ideas of the how can we link the biological understanding, biological concept in our daily life or in the examination. For example, you need to do some calculation, in the topic of cells or the cell structure. You need to suggest, a diet, for a person, to get a balanced diet in the breakfast, and also any disease, or any abnormal situation, abnormal condition for a patient, in their digestive system, and also any respiratory disease in the in human being, for example, asthma. So for question 2 first, we take a look at the amoeba. So for the picture, XY, and the magnification power, is given. And in this question, what you are going to do is that you need to calculate the magnification, the length, of the amoeba. So measure the length of amoeba, X and Y, use the ruler, and then calculate the length. And the second one is that you need to compare the eukaryote and the prokaryote, because you need to tell us, is amoeba a eukaryote or a prokaryote? So the key point is that you will not be asked to list out any difference or any similarity between eukaryote and prokaryote. You may be given a cell, and then you may be asked whether it is eukaryote or prokaryote, and you need to point out that it is a eukaryote because the following reason, it contains something something, and it does not contain something something, like that. You need to justify your answer. And the third one, the process of nutrition of the amoeba requires energy and enzyme. So which part of the cell is the main site where energy is released, and which part are the enzymes produced from? So it is about third point, you need to identify, the functions of organelles in the amoeba. So somehow you know that, they will not ask you directly what is the function of the nucleus. simple question, recall memory. But the point is that in this case, okay, they already give you the function. Okay, they want you to relay it to the structure. Okay, and it is just the first step. And the second step will be any adaptive feature of these organelles. Okay, what is the structure of the organelles can make it adapt to the function of these organelles. Okay, so for the paragraph, okay, amoeba is the unicellular organism, is very small, so we need to use the light microscope, okay, to observe it. So that's the equation for the magnification, okay, is equal to the size of image over the size of object, okay. And also the other hints is that amoeba, okay, it has cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and vacuole. So the second pieces of information, it gives you a hint, okay, for identifying whether amoeba is eukaryote or not, because both of eukaryote and prokaryote have cell membrane and cytoplasm. But how about nucleus and vacuole? So you need to point out that any differences among them, okay, between them, okay. And now I'm going to teach you one more how to calculate, okay, the magnification, okay, by using this equation. So this picture, okay, is drawn by me, okay. So the actual length, okay, of x and y you need to measure by yourself using the ruler. So 5.9 cm is not the answer, okay, I just make it, okay. So the amoeba x and y 5.9 cm, the magnification scale 150, and the actual size I don't know, so I let it be x cm. Magnification is equal to size of the image over size of the object, and then 105, okay, 150, okay, is equal to 5.9 over x, and after the calculation you will get that 0.039 centimeter. But the point is that this may not be the final answer. You need to be very careful to look at the question, whether it asks you to express your answer in micrometer, okay, in micrometer. So what you need to learn is that convert the unit again. So for the cm probably is 10 minus 2 meter, okay, and micrometer is 10 to power to minus 6 meter. So the difference between these two units is 10,000 times. So what you need to do is that when you get the answer 0.039 cm, you times 10,000, and then you will get the final answer in the unit of micrometer. Okay, so try to figure out how can you calculate. Okay, there is not much calculation in biology. Okay, magnification is one, and for example the rate and depth of breathing is another one. Okay, something like that. Let's go to the second paragraph. Okay, so the point is that amoeba is made up of only one cell, but it can carry out all the essential life process. So that's the point. I want you to recall the 7 characteristics of life. Okay, for example, movement, respiration, growth, and reproduction. So I am going to give you a little challenge. So I want you to recall the 7 characteristics of life, okay? And please leave your answer into the message box, okay, under, below. So leave your answer, okay, of 7 characteristics of life, okay, in the message box. So the first 2 students, they can get the correct answer. I will give you some gifts. So the student in my class, please leave your answer, okay. And also the amoeba can capture the food by extending the cytoplasm into food-like structure to engulf the food particles. So probably is phagocytosis. And recall to the question, or refer to the question, okay, it asks where is the energy produced. So you need to know that why it needs energy, or because the amoeba, okay, to capture the food, to engulf the food, okay, by phagocytosis. And so how can the amoeba produce energy? So the last question is any organelle is involved, okay, of this process to produce energy, the energy production. And the second point is that the food particles is finally digested into small soluble forms by enzymes inside the cell. So the enzyme can speed up the chemical reaction. We all know that. So the hint is that enzyme is made up of something. Okay. So which organelles is involved for enzyme production? The key point is that enzyme is made up of what? Okay. And then which organelles can help us to produce these important chemicals and then produce the enzyme? And that's the question, the key point in chapter 2. Okay, and then we shall go to chapter 5. Okay, so let's move on to the chapter 5 question. So it's about the Hong Kong style breakfast. In this question, what you need to do is that the first thing is to point out the importance of the breakfast. You can read from the paragraph. Okay, what are the advantages of having breakfast? And also, according to the article, comment on the nutritional values for the food commonly provided in Hong Kong style breakfast. So any good or bad thing. So it needs you, okay, to identify the disease caused by unbalanced diet. And also, because we have 2 and then we have 3 to recall the concept of food pyramid and the balanced diet. Because for the number 3 and number 4 question, okay, you should know that after mention the nutritional value, okay, and then we know that if we intake too much fat and too much sugar, also any disease, okay, we shall suffer, okay. And the fourth one, okay, the third and fourth one is that imagine you are a nutritionist. Okay, so in the question, in DSE question, you are always asked to have a role play. Imagine you are a nutritionist. So any suggestion you will give, okay, to your client to keep a healthy life. So in the fourth question, suggest 2 healthier food choices for the breakfast. So in this case, what you are going to talk about is not the food substance. The food substance, that means the 7 types of food substance: carbohydrates, protein, fats, water, vitamins, minerals, and dietary fiber. No, not the food substance. What I need is really the food stuff. For example, the concrete. Okay, for example, the noodles, for example, the beef, for example, the liver, for example, the rice, something like that. Okay, what I need is the concrete food. Okay, so I need a menu. Okay, or a dishes. Okay, at least not a list of menu. Okay, so make sure that, okay, you can suggest some food. For example, if you know that someone is suffering from anemia, okay, and you know that anemia because he or she doesn't intake enough iron, okay, to produce the hemoglobin, and then he or she will look pale, something like that. Okay, so what I need to suggest him or her to eat, it should he or she should intake more iron, right? But what I want you to suggest him or her is that they need to eat more beef, or they need to eat more liver. Okay, so I need the food, not the food substance. And for the next part, okay, this paragraph, okay, can give you sufficient information to answer the question 1. Okay, and also one word I would like to mention is that fasting. Okay, fasting in English, okay, that means reduction in food intake, or you did not intake food for a long time. For example, when you are sleeping overnight, okay, you will not intake any food, so it is a kind of fasting. Okay, and breakfast is that we break the fasting. Okay, we break the fast in the morning. So that's why we call it breakfast. And for the last part, okay, the second paragraph, okay, we talk about the dim sums and the instant noodles, okay, for Hong Kong people, okay, to have their breakfast, okay. So high fat, high sugar, and high salt, but low dietary fiber, very little amounts of dietary fiber. So in this case, okay, we need to talk about the dietary related diseases, okay. Intake too much fat, that means your energy intake is very high. And if your energy intake is higher than the energy output, any health problem, okay. And intake too much sugar is just like drinking too much, okay, drinking too much soft drink, and any health problem. And the last part is that not enough dietary fiber, any deficiency disease, okay, what kind of disease you will suffer from, okay. So that's one part, okay, of the chapter 5. And the point is that you may think that, apart from the Chinese or Hong Kong breakfast, okay, we know that some Western breakfast, okay, the wheat, okay, and also the cereal, okay. You may have ever heard that this kind of food is very healthy, but okay, I want to tell you that, okay, according to some research, okay, the research tells us the sugar level in the cereal, okay, the cereal breakfast is quite high. So I will attach the link, okay, for these two news, okay, in the description, so you can go down, okay, and then click into the link if you want to know more about the sugar content in the breakfast cereal. And the last part is that, okay, in chapter 5 we all know that the function of the food, okay, or any deficiency disease if we do not intake sufficient amount of the food. But the point is that we need to go one step further, okay. We need to choose our own diet, okay. You are what you eat, okay. Your cells, okay, the cell component, okay, are made up of what you eat. So we need to be very careful, okay, about what we are eating.